let me know that love is all around me. Oh, let me know that love is all around me. Let me know that love is all around me. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Soul Fulfilling. Welcome on into the room. Hey, Ryan, you're the first one. Let me learn from all the ways I fall. Let me learn from all the ways I fall. Oh, let me know that love will heal us all. Let me know that love will heal us all. Oh, let me walk each day a little wiser. Let me walk each day a little wiser. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, hey, Paulette Lucas, I'm so happy to be here with you too. Hey, Cheryl and Chef Lori. Hey, she gonna soon be aloha. Hey, Patricia Kingery. You were down there in Mazatlan for a while. Let me love in a holy, holy way. I love this song because it just says the same things. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. A holy way, a holy way. A holy way, a holy way. A holy way, a holy, holy way. Yes. Hey, Maxine. Glad to see you in the house tonight. And Joanne Long. Hey, Joanne. I'm still missing North Carolina. I want you to know about that. I ain't over it yet. Ayabodi Jackson. I actually made it to the live on time for a change. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And everybody keep on coming into the room. I'm happy to see you. We're winding down on our soul fulfilling programs. After 125, something else is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be a sing-along Zoom. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm open to conversations. I don't know if it's going to be a book of the month. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm open to your suggestions. I just know that it's time for a change. And this has been fresher than real, but I'm a creative being and I just enjoy shaking it up and trying some other things. So, and I can tell you some things that I've been a part of, like last night, like Monday night, I was part of an open mic and I hate those. Well, I haven't liked open mic in person, much less on a Zoom. But I did one on Monday night, and it was really, really interesting. You know, the folks were singing they were singing standards, and there was a piano player in one window and somebody else singing in another window, and it was like, I'd like to sing "I Love You" for sentimental reasons. Okay, what key? You know, because they got to know what key they do it in now. And then, you know, and they say what key they did it in, and then the lady would, I love you for sentimental reasons. I hope you will believe me. I give you all my love. And then, you know, they were doing all these love songs. This is one of my favorite ones. I love you This goes to all you guys. And you alone were made for joy. Please say you'll walk this journey with me. I'll sing to you from my heart. So they were doing stuff like that, but they didn't sing it like that. That's Rickie's take in the moment. But they were singing all kinds of songs, and it was fun. It was fun to see people's faces, and I love your faces. I love your names, but I think I might not mind seeing y'all. How you feel about that? If you feel like you might want to do a Zoom sometime, put some nines up in there. If you feel like that a Zoom would be appropriate, just give me some nines, and that way I'll know that you feel it. If you feel it in a Zoom, like we can change it up to a Zoom, or something like that. But I want your input about where soul fulfilling gets to go. All right. So Kevin Ross, hey, this Dr. Kevin Ross. Kevin just graduated from the Harvard School of Divinity. And thank you for the Harvard graduation. Yeah, we're proud of you, not just because Harvard, but because you did something, you set your eyes on doing something else. You took a step up, you spiraled, and I'm sure it's up. I got some nines from Marcus say, yeah. Ryan said, uh-huh. Okay, Chef Lori said, yeah, she's in for something fresh. And Chrissy says, yeah. Okay. Maxine says, yeah. Okay. So, and one thing I don't want to do is is make a Zoom and then everybody got their name up there, but I ain't got no face. Now that make me mad right there. So you got to get ready for the evening, so that when you come on, you're looking spotty-yody, and that we can have a good evening together. But it was great. And I went on that program to listen. And then I shared, they said, Rickie, now it's time for you to share. I was like, but, and I did As Seasons Change, and they loved it. They loved it. It was the only really original song. Everything else were, the standard jazz tunes. But that was an original composition that I wrote that is like a jazz song, but not really. And because it has its own harmonic base that's not so predictable, not like, it's just different. And they loved it. And they were so happy that I was on the call. So I was like, oh, this is a different experience. They had about 20 people in the class, and it was great, So when we do our Zooms, I mean, we might lose numbers and we might gain more. I don't know. I'm doing it to see what it is, the ways that we can be together from time to time. So that's it for our planning meeting. We're going to move on to welcome everybody into this evening's Soul Fulfilling. My name is Rickie Byars, and I'm very thankful that you are taking the time to be with us tonight. And we have a beautiful being with us tonight. My very good friend Estella Holeman is in the house with us, and we're going to bring her on in a minute. I see Marianne is saying something about prayer. She had asking for prayers for my friend who passed from cancer. Okay, Char, you're welcome. And we'll just hold you in prayer, and knowing that Char is free from that body. The body didn't serve her any longer, and she let it go. She left it behind. And God bless her on her journey into glory and greater glory. Wouldn't it be something if we could look back to see what we gave up to come to this life? Who were we? Maybe we were Char. Maybe we get to be any of us in other incarnations. Or maybe it's all brand new, never happened before. And that we show up as a firstborn soul, and bright and bushy-eyed for the journey. Who knows? But I just know that right here and right now, Marianne has asked for some prayer because she's grieving the loss of her loved one. So we just bless you. And yeah. How many of us have released loved ones in the last year or so? Last years, some of us are still releasing. Life is good, isn't it? So many different colors. Mm. So I'm not flying solo tonight. I'm flying with a friend. So we're going to bring, I'm going to recognize before Estella comes, I want to recognize Sue. Thank you, Sue, for all your assistance tonight. She's our show's producer. And I thank you, Sue, for all of your assistance. And Ryan, okay, okay, yes. And I'm so happy to be here with Rickie tonight. It's been a tough week. And from this moment on, it's getting better. That's right. That was that. And this is now. Yes. Releasing my father. Yeah, I'm still releasing my mom. I mean, she's on the other side and everything. My Uncle George. I mean, I love them so much. I'm going to be releasing them until I see them again. Yeah, the circle of life is real and it's all in divine order. Yes, Miss Jackson. That is true. I agree. Now, for real, we're going to bring in Stella the poet. We really are going to bring her in now. I've been threatening to bring her on the thread. It's almost 7 o'clock. Come on in. Like somebody really loves you.
Hey,
What you doing, Stella, back there?
that wasn't me. But I love that. This is something about somebody really loves you. Your song. You can ready to break into it. Hi, Rickie. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. So this is my friend Estella Holeman, everybody, and she's also known as Stella the poet. Stella the poet is a journalist. I mean, she's an activist on several levels, but mostly she's my friend. You know, she's an educator and she's a healer. Um, and she doesn't want to take any new clients, so don't be calling her. She got enough clients now. She's trying to get to the. She's trying to be like me. She's trying to get to the place where she ain't doing nothing.
You know what? All the time. All the time. Ain't doing nothing all the time. I love that.
I love it. I love it. You know, you know how, I'm on this journey with Percival Everett, man. And
Yeah.
and the deeper I go into Percival, the more I'm finding out about myself. I'm discovering a lot about myself just through reading from the way he writes from the heart, through his own heart, probably for these characters. If he were a cold-blooded cat, you know what I mean, that didn't care nothing about the world, I'd be very, very surprised because there's nothing but warmth and honesty, at least from what I'm reading in his characters. I'm thankful for the gift of writers and journalists and who stand for something, folks who can write, who use the word, or they allow the word to use them, you know. So when you are when does the script become scripture? When is it that you're writing something and then you realize
Wow.
this is, I don't know, do you realize this is good? Or I like, how do you feel when something is being born?
Wow. That's a heavy question. I thought about that. When you asked that question, I thought, Rickie, do you know when your lyrics become scripture? You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it flows. It flows into something that is beyond me. You know, we talk all the time. We walk, and I'm into Orrin Bishop, and something that he said today when I was listening to him, he was saying how knowledge cannot be impacted, cannot affect spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can have all the knowledge in the world, but that does not affect spirituality. Spirituality is a feeling. It's a vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And so when I write, I never knew I was a poet until I needed to figure out how to say the most I could in a very short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And when that came through, I realized that there is something, and this is also Orrin Bishop, the acceptance of what we don't know is so much a greater reality than what we do. And
Mm.
so my writing comes through what I don't know, but what I'm trying to feel through. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I think I believe there's something very honest about that. And I think sometimes we start editing and cleaning it up and then we lose the innocence that kind of showed its face in the beginning,
Yes.
you know, until we learn how to really, really edit in a pure distilling
Mm-hmm.
of thought and heart, feelings, so that you don't lose anything, you
Yes.
know, of the original intention.
Yes. Because
Yeah.
then, when I have to think about it, I'm out of that zone.
Hmm.
I'm out of that zone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I like the freedom of whatever that expression is in that creative field where I'm not editing and I'm just allowing it to flow. So the answer to your question is the allowance, the acceptance of not trying to navigate. There you go. But allow myself to be led.
You want to hear something that I wrote? This
Yes.
this is a first premiere debut of nothing. I'm totally silly tonight, y'all. I'm sorry for whatever happened in the news. You know, it's like where I am right now. This is where I am. But this happened. This came like in the last 24 hours, pretty much. But it said, I'd rather believe I am walking with God, and that okay, out of the writing, that's as opposed to not walking with God. Okay, I'd rather believe I am walking with God. If I went into the day just for the sake of day, what would it look like? It might look like stretching the body, watching the body breathe itself. It might look like completely an order of details, perhaps several orders that ensure a pleasant environment, at least for my eyes, my taste. My longings toward a programmed perfection, a bed with pillows, sheets in place, a toilet odorless and fresh, a counter that has all things in place, a counter with all things placed to ensure a pleasant environment. If I went into the day for the sake of day, I might look like an early morning sun. It might look like an early morning sun bath and some deeper acceptance of the gifts of nature of which I am a part. It might look like sharing a word with a nephew who calls from the prison to hear my voice. If I go into the day for the sake of day, it would look like it will look like a song to God, though, for real. It will be a song to God, for it seems the implant of joy still beckons me, the joyful, wild, and free, sometimes sensuously exploring the world to discover what fun is and how so not joy it is. Fun is fleeting. We had fun. We felt good together. We laughed and created good things together. We had fun. Fun in a life is important. But when we part, we pass on, we no longer create together, fun becomes a memory of some days, events, creations that are enriching for our glorious past of fun stuff. But a song to God is more than fun. It is fulfilling to sing to God, to sing of God, to sing for God. I am never truly me unless me disappears into a greater song of Creator. Creator of the universe, how great you are. Oh, guide me and inspire me to be wonderful. Creator deep inside us all, you lift me up every time I fall. Oh, God, guide me and inspire me to be wonderful. Creator of the universe, how great you are. Oh, guide me and inspire me to be wonderful. My breath begins and ends with you. Into your heart I melt completely. Your house shall be my house forever. Innocent love, only your goodness and your mercy follow me. Plant your garden and enjoy how plants dance in God too. Amen. Perhaps they're just dancing in the sun for the sake of day is the glory of God.
Hmm. For the sake of day. That's lovely.
I forgot how it ended. I was like, well, somewhere in there, I was like, oh, I'm in here now. Let's see.
You deep in the journal thought. Okay.
But I ended with this for the sake of day
Mhm.
is the glory of God. Like God made us for the glory. We're here as part of nature, nature's divine plan to be beautiful. To be wonderful, and you know. So when you know that the word is not just scribble, but it's like a scripture.
Mm.
And you nod, and what do you say to yourself?
Mm. It 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 brings tears to my eyes
Mm-hmm.
because it touches me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't want to read it anymore because it keeps bringing tears to my eyes because it touches me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those kind of deep explorations, um, I'm led to. I don't go willingly. I remember once had a boyfriend who told me he was a shallow swimmer. He told me I went too deep. That I was a
Mm-hmm.
deep sea diver.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in my early days, because I don't do anything just for the sake of doing things. I
Mm-hmm.
do things with thought in mind. So when you were talking about the sake of day, when I was in Mrs. Jones's class today, we're outside and Mrs. Jones just stopped and she put her face to the sun. She said, "Oh, so good to feel the sun." And we were talking about that because for the sake of day,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the day, whether, when it's cloudy, even if it's the sun is out, you know,
Mm-hmm.
when you can rise up and feel that light, that presence,
Mm-hmm.
um, in my writing, it scares me. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it scares me because I even though I might be a deep sea diver, I can stay shallow along with the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, and just sort of just cruise through. But
Mm-hmm.
I get to feel the ups and downs and the bumps, and my writings take me through that. Much like
Mm-hmm.
your writings take you through periods, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
You can tell by the title,
Mm-hmm.
where you are at that moment in time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that, on a spiritual level, on with words, words are neutral. So if they
Mm-hmm.
touch me, they must be doing something.
Hey, yeah. So this is my friend Estella. What I love about a good walking partner is they give you space to express yourself.
Mm.
And so we walk and we talk about everything. And we talked today, and I was talking about how good that. Well, first of all, she had taken some days off and had gone away for a while and just to rest. And she said, I said, so how did you enjoy your journey? And she said, well, actually, she slept. They slept and they didn't do anything but sleep for 2 days. And they realized that they were really exhausted, and I was like, wow, I used to be like that. You know, I used to work all the time. Now I do nothing all day long.
And that's the blessing. People used to ask me, what do I do? And I say, as little as possible, as often as I can.
See you doing it.
Oh,
But
I do. I mean, I try to, but like you, what we do, we love.
yeah,
So, but I still have to get out of that wheel. You
yeah.
know, I really
Mhm.
have to stop and be still. I'm
Yeah,
home.
well, you do a lot, and you do a lot of good, like your service with Miss Jones and her class, and bringing your writing gifts there, and just really how to get inside of people. That's a gift that you have for somebody that says that you enjoy the shallow area. If there's anybody that knows how to get in there, it's you. You know, you're hiding from yourself, but it's okay. We all do that. We all hide.
Mm.
You know, uh, there was a young lady that was and her mom were staying here for a couple of days, and last night my daughter Georgia was up in her where she in her studio in her where she lives, and she had a groove that was so bad, it was so cold-blooded. I was like, "Ah, what?" It's like having Bernie Worrell and George Clinton and everybody right upstairs,
Mm.
because she does it, and she's got the beats, she's got the music, she got the funk. She is the funk fairy, and she was up there getting down, man, getting down. And it was like, even at that time, it was about 10:30 at night. And so little Saskia comes into my room for a second, and I was like, listen to this. You hear that? I said, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm just jamming, you know. And I said, and she was like, yeah, that's really nice. And then her little 13 and a half year old head starts jamming. We're jamming like this. And she said, I said, this is what can happen when you have a genius in the house.
Mm.
And she looked at me, she says, that would be two geniuses then.
Ooh.
And I looked at her, I was like,
Mm. 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 Mm.
I said, what you
Mm.
talking about, Saskia? She was like, ah, you, Mama Rickie. And I was like,
Mm.
I'm not so sure
Mm.
about that. But she was sure.
Yeah.
She was sure,
Yeah.
of what I have been so unwilling to accept about myself because I just didn't want to call it anything.
Mhm.
It is what it is. I'm just doing what I'm doing. And then when I'm not doing that anymore, then it's no big deal that I'm not doing that anymore. But it seems I'm always doing it.
I was gonna say you can't stop being genius. You just can't. That I am not Sidney Poitier. You will never say I'm not genius. Okay, claim it, embrace it, have it, and be grateful for it. Because not everybody's ever been called that. Some
uh,
folks get called so far away from that.
uh,
Okay, even though
oh,
they may even have it in them, they've been
yeah,
called away from that.
yeah.
So you moved on that genius, and that genius. I mean, it's not you. I mean, it
It's
ain't
kind of,
you. It just comes
yes.
from you.
Well, it's kind of like Percival when he's writing.
Mm.
Like Percival Everett has this book called "I Am Not Sidney Poitier," and yeah, as y'all can see, I'm on a Percival binge, man. I'm gonna read every book he ever wrote because they're all extraordinary, and they're probably the most spiritual books I've ever read.
Mm.
But when he talked about he when he speaks about this person whose name is not Sidney, like not Rickie. It's like I am not. So somebody says, "What's your name?" He says, "I am not Sidney Poitier." He looks just like Sidney Poitier, but anyway, he's a young not Sidney, and then he grows up and he becomes, a 23-year-old not Sidney. But the deal is that what he is experiencing in his life is he's experiencing it naively and innocently and fully,
Mm.
you know,
Mm.
fully as himself. And but his name is not Sidney,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I find a lot. I can find a lot in that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sometimes you have to go a long life and you realize you really are Forrest Gump.
Mm.
You
Mm.
know, you remember how far y'all know remember Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of
Yeah.
chocolates.
You never know what you're gonna get.
I mean, but
Yes.
he found himself in so many interesting places
Mm-hmm.
from TV shows on the White House. I mean, even this movie called Being There with Peter Sellers. It's just like when I look at my life and I look at it's almost like Wally Amos. Wally Amos has a book called That's the Way the Cookie Crumbles, right?
Ah, yeah.
Wally Amos wrote a book, had the famous Amos
Favorite
cookies,
cookies, right?
right? Well, I have a book in there by Wally Amos. Wally Amos knew so many people, man. And
Mm.
he was trying to raise $10,000 to open up his cookie shop, right? And some people who had big money told him that they didn't have money, at that time. And he was like, "But these people are rolling in dough. 10 grand to them ain't nothing." But he didn't allow himself to get caught up in the small things. He just realized that the timing was wrong for them at that time. So he just went on until he got the right person, and the right person was Marvin Gaye, and Marvin Gaye gave him $10,000, and he was able to open up his shop on time. Okay, and so his thing, in his lessons at the end of his chapters, he was like, "Don't spend your time being mad about somebody missing the mark for you. Just keep moving forward. Just keep going forward. Keep moving ahead. Stay solution focused." He didn't say that, but that's what he meant. It's like stay solution oriented. and just don't waste your time. But Wally, man, he had so many. I was like, man, these folks with their stories of people that and to end the story about Wally Amos, finally, this is the final thing I got to say, is that I was talking to Jewel Tyus Williams. Yeah, some of you remember Dr. Jewel at Village. Remember Dr. Jewel, Estella?
Of course. I love Jewel.
Oh, yes. And she allowed us to have the Kumba camp up there.
Yeah, of course.
The Kumba school. Well, I was talking to her like about 2 weeks ago. And I said, well, how's your sister Carol doing? And she said, she's doing good. She married Wally Amos.
Wow.
I was like, Wally Amos? She married Wally. And they live in Hawaii. I was like,
wow.
I remember I was with Wally Amos, at his house when he was married to somebody else. And he made oatmeal raisin cookies for an anniversary. Man, my life has just been so funny. It's kind of like when you're talking like Barnett Harneywood and Phoebe, you're talking about all these great people, and I'm going like, huh? You know her? Her? But it's like, she's just, a little bit piece of gossip. Carol married Wally.
Wow. You know what? I'm loving the people who find love in the Silver Age.
Yes.
I really do. Reminds me of I think it was Mary Kimbrough. The Kimbroughs over in Leimert Park, Congo Square. Mary Kimbrough married someone in her when she was in her 70s. I'm just loving it. That love keeps us inspired. That love keeps us past what we think our limitations are.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I think the last song has been sung for me in marriage.
Oh, I don't, I never looked for it. Never had it, never looked for it, never really wanted, need for it.
You know what? I didn't either.
What Lola said the reason to get married is you're going to have children. And I decided I wasn't having children. So I've been good ever since.
I don't think I agree with what she said. Okay. But it's all good. The second person I married said those words, that was the reason to get married.
To have children.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, why you want to get married?
So if you were to get married in your silver, why would you get married?
I wouldn't. I'll put this way. What marriage has shifted for me. What marriage means. Holy matrimony is quite different than marriage. Holy matrimony can happen in the eyes of God, in the eyes of the God in you and the God in her or him. It's like it's holy in unto itself. It has no need for a contract from the state, or the government.
Yes.
It's written in your hearts. Yes. And that's all that's needed. The integrity of love, the joy of love. Yes. And for me, what works for me is the exclusivity of love. I just enjoy being with somebody who'd love to be with me, who would think about me, and not his other 5 wives, but somebody who thought of me, Now in another life, I can have space for the other 4 wives, but not this one. Because they might get in the way of my nothing. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. If y'all want it deeper tonight, it ain't gonna get much deeper. It's gonna be full of joy, and I want to sing a song, and then Estella is gonna read a beautiful poem about love, but or about whatever she wants to read about. All right. Oh, this is not the song I wanted to sing, but I love this song, so I'll sing. In the heart of spirit, daughter, the one who's truly free is the way of greater wisdom, a shiny destiny. She's dreaming with the moon and walking with the sun. Her light reveals the answer to questions as they come. A question posed by one is, where do you find the face of God? Where to find the face of God? In the river, in the laughter, in the soul. Where to find the face of God? In the river, in the laughter, in the soul. What is it you know of God? Greater giving, greater loving, greater joy. What is it you know of God? Greater giving, greater loving, greater joy. In the soul of spirit, brother, the one who's truly free is the way of great expression, a shiny destiny. He listens to the wind and knows that all is one. His light reveals the answer to questions as they come. A question posed by one is, where do you find the strength of God? Hey, Gary, where to find the strength of God? In the quiet of surrender, in your tears. Where to find the strength of God? In the quiet of surrender, in your tears. Where to hear the song of God? In the children, in the chanting, in the old. Where to hear the song of God? In the children, in the chanting, in the old. La 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 la. Hey, la 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 la. What is it we know of God? Greater giving, greater loving, greater joy. Greater giving, greater loving, greater joy. Mm. And
Thank you.
mhm.
Mhm.
And the last verse says, there's a heart and spirit people. They're yearning to be free. They sing with greater wisdom. They dance in unity. And every day they find the courage to be more.
Mhm.
Their light reveals the answer and opens every door. Now and forevermore, they are here to be the face of God. Where to find the face of God? In the river, in the laughter, in the soul.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, so this is my love poem because it's my love poem to me.
Come on now. I love myself so
So
much.
much. Okay. This is from Truth Shot Tonight is Brew, and it's called Seeing Myself with New Eyes. Soft eyes, soft focus as I age in grace, finally embracing beauty in my face, loving the tender places of wrinkles and tears, finding peace and resolution with all my fears. Soft eyes, soft focus for the days ahead, loving the loves in my life, trusting what's been said. With renewed sight, what do I see? Loving myself first is healing. Self compassion is my new way of being. Growing from everything, including the insane and ugly. Self caring, acceptance, trusting, and loving the beauty I now see in the mirror. Whew.
See in the mirror. Loving the beauty I now see in the mirror. I don't know. Can you guys look in the mirror and love the beauty you see in the mirror? I'm learning because my mirrors ain't so good. Like sometimes I go to a hotel and the mirrors are really nice. The lighting is good.
And they're clean. Oh, anyway, that was just in one.
My mirrors are clean, but sometimes the lighting is not conducive for a good image.
Mm.
So I have to work really hard to love the image in the mirror.
Mm.
But I find the mirror eventually. But it's like God has blessed us. And so I'm thankful for the way all things are working together at the various phases of our lives so that we may understand that we're more than flesh, we're more than time, we're more than even the reflection in the mirror. That we are that I am not just the Rickie Byars, but I am more than that. You know, the Spirit says, I am more than this. I am more than this. I am more than 71 years, 80 years, 96 years on this planet that's been here for for billions of years. I'm more than I'm more than that. Now, that ain't minimal. That's not to minimize the journey and the peaks and the valleys and all the decisions and all the hiding from oneself and all the shallow wading in the water of who we are versus diving deep into the abyss. I mean, it's all of that is part of a powerful journey, I believe, that we get to do, that we get to have, that we
You know
have.
what's interesting about looking in the mirror. Somebody asked, what was the name of the poem? The poem is called "Seeing Myself Through New Eyes."
And tell them the book again, because you
Oh,
said
it's
the book
called
title real fast.
"Truth Shots." Where am I? There you go. "Truth Shots in Ida's Brew" by Stella the Poet.
There we go.
Thank you. I when I do exercises with the kids in the schools where I teach,
Mm-hmm.
I used to in juvenile hall you can't bring a mirror, but I used to bring a mirror, and they they held the mirror in their hand and they would say, "I am beautiful. I am capable.
Mm-hmm.
I am special."
Mm-hmm.
And I won't even tell you how many kids couldn't look in the mirror
Mm-hmm.
because we look in the mirror now to put on whatever our lashes or the makeup and all of that, but the rawness
Mm-hmm.
of our beauty, of
Mm-hmm.
ourself, made in the image and likeness. We use them, I remember we were walking today and there was this beautiful Black woman and she's older and I told her I was her reflection
Mm-hmm.
because the mirror is our reflection that we see in each other. So when I compliment someone, I see that beauty in me or else I couldn't compliment it.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that we've been programmed, I think, or socialized to look in the mirror does not necessarily see the eyes are the mirror to the soul.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at yourself and you tell yourself certain kinds of things, you can feel it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's looking in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
When you can feel your soul when you look in the mirror.
Mm.
Um,
I don't know that I don't know that I do. When I look in the mirror, I mean, really, when I look in the mirror, I don't know that I can feel my soul. I really don't. I feel my soul. I feel my soul
hmm.
I am my soul. So it's like I don't even know that I can not feel it. You know, I just look in the mirror and I see my face. I don't know if I feel my soul. You know,
Well,
but I.
that's why I think that's why the last line is finally embracing the beauty in my
Mhm.
face, because it's all of that.
Well,
You
I
can't
tell you what,
ignore.
I was looking at my face, I was looking at my face at Sunday's devotional, and the way the lighting was just like, I don't know. And that's, sometimes you wake up and this face that is the gorgeous face that we gonna claim is, I love myself so much. Man, I had something that showed up on my face, these knots. I'm going like, what is that? It's like I slept too long, I think. And it was just like I slept myself into some Humpty Dumpties that was right here under my eyes. Right. So when
Mm.
I was looking at the devotional, I wasn't looking for that. But when I looked at my face, I'm gonna tell you, I looked at the image didn't look like this image here. It doesn't look like what I'm looking tonight. Tonight, I like what my face looked like. But when I looked at the devotional from Sunday, and all I saw this aged woman, and she had a lot of joy, and she had people singing around her. Now, if I listened to it, I wouldn't have seen any of that. Just walk and put on the headphones and just listen. But I'm just sharing something very honest.
Mhm.
I looked at it and I didn't see. I saw time. I saw a journey that's going to be shortened in the next 30 years or so. You know, I saw. It is. I just didn't. I didn't feel that good about what I saw, but I didn't feel bad. But I just looked at my face. I was like, wow, you're getting on in years, and you're looking, you're getting older.
Oh, I love that. I love when you said when you look for, because when you look with, you
Mm-hmm.
see something different.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I see you, it's so funny because I look at your skin and I see the Indian, the Native American in you. I see the smoothness of it. I see what in our society would say no wrinkles or very few. I see the brightness in your eyes. I hear the joy in your laughter that shows up on your face. It's so
Mm-hmm.
funny. Joy and beauty
Mm-hmm.
has a feeling tone to it as
Mm-hmm.
much as it has a look to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've
Mm-hmm.
seen what so-called pretty
Mm-hmm.
looks like,
Mm-hmm.
where the beauty ain't nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So so when I learned to accept the beauty in my face, I saw my mama, I saw
Mm-hmm.
my daddy, and I
Mm-hmm.
saw my grandmama.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I saw when I smile the joy that they get when I smile.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I see the brightness in my eyes, and I tell people tell me, I guess, we don't have a lot of twinkle in our eye anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
can see the twinkle in my eye because I can see the twinkle in yours. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's like
Mhm,
what I
mhm,
see with is what I have. And
mhm,
so I see it took me a long time. It took me a long time to not think that, I had to be cute. You know,
mhm, mhm, mhm,
it took
mhm,
me a long time to understand that everything I have came from
mhm.
something that was beautiful.
Hey, come on now. Go on, girl. I just need to be around you a little bit more.
No, it's we don't get a chance to
Mhm,
reflect each other
mhm,
often.
mhm, mhm,
And when we do, our societal norms may have us, look critically.
mhm,
But when
mhm,
I can look from a place of knowing that
mhm,
it came from a place of loving and
mhm,
love
mhm, mhm,
created, and I mean, there ain't nobody like me, and there
mhm,
ain't nobody like you.
mhm.
That
You
by
said,
itself is a
well,
wonderful ownership.
praise God. You said something about societal norms, and I was sharing with Georgia the other day about what happens when, like when you understand that you exist, when you really get that you exist. uh I remember when I realized that I existed, you
Mm.
know and I was about 18 months, but I knew I existed. it's like I showed up. Now I
Mm.
think my grandkids are much faster than that,
Hmm.
in their getting it. But I got that I existed, and I think that that thing that calls me to Percival Everett, especially in the I Am Not Sidney Poitier, where this person goes through the world and he is himself, and he meets the world in all of its ugliness
Hmm.
and the different characters along the way that mean you no harm, no good. They mean you no good. They see how they can use you. You know, that's not everybody that he met, but the ones that are substantially notated are ones that that were not nice people. At the end of the day, but he could see them in their smallness and leave. He didn't talk about them badly. He just assessed who they were, and could just go on. And I think when you see the world with a pure heart, even if you can't quite see who you are yet,
Mm.
it gives you some time to learn who you are. Y-
Hmm.
You know, that it gives you some time to learn and to learn, who you're not. Because there were some things, that we discover along the way, when we're growing up. And that's everybody. We're learning lessons, we're going like, no, I wouldn't do that again, but I did do that then. I
Hmm.
did it,
Hmm.
but I did it from, and I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware. And the more we come face to face, like when you say you look in the mirror and you can see the beauty there, you know, and you see your mothers and your fathers, your grandmothers. I don't know that I see my grandmothers. I didn't know my grandmothers. So the thing is that, but I do know with good lighting, I'm looking pretty good. I know. I'm like, it's all right. It's all right. But I
So
mean,
you know what? If I could just say with the light, let's say with the light,
with the light,
okay? With the
with
light,
the with the
you
light.
looking damn good.
Man, I went to my kinesiologist. That's the doctor that I go to, and he's 80. He turned 80. Rich Clayton turned
Mm.
80. I've been going to him since he was 50. And,
Wow.
and I was 40. It's like it's amazing to see time,
Mhm.
how time moves us on. And then,
Along. Yep.
yeah, moves us along. I mean, he's still there. I mean, his mother-in-law is now, 101. I was like, well, it might be space for us. I wanted to talk about how, because in my write up tonight, I said, come and listen to what can happen after the last song has been sung, or so you thought.
Mm.
Is there room in your heart for greater joy? There is room in my heart for greater joy.
Mm.
Is there room in your heart for greater joy, JL? Iyabodi, is it room in your heart for greater joy? Is there room in your heart for greater joy? And with Estella, when you tell Estella something, and when she tells me something, I'll give her some information about it, and she goes like, "That's a good idea," and I'll give her something, and she'll give me some input, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good idea." There's some people say, "Don't tell nobody nothing that you're doing." I tell everything I'm doing, and I appreciate the input. You know, I remember I told her one time that I wanted to start a school, and we were walking.
Yep.
Remember that? We were
Yep.
walking in
Yep.
Kenneth Hahn
Hey,
Park.
on. Yep.
And I said, I want to start a school. She was like, I'll help you.
Hmm.
I will help you. And in no time flat, man, I had a Saturday school. Oh, gosh.
In all
Oh,
different kinds of forms,
yeah.
in
Yeah.
all different ways, serving so many different people in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It begins with that desire, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not
And,
even
and,
a goal, just a desire.
and you say, not even what?
So not even a goal,
Right. Not a goal.
but a
It's, it,
desire.
it's something that's calling you.
Yes.
It's something that's calling you, that's calling your heart. And for me, it was a sharing. It's like there's something in me that that wants to share, and there's so in the thread, in the chatters, put in the thread what you're sharing. I know we talked about it last week, but is there something that you want to experience in your time here? Is it uh what is it that you'd like to experience, to be a part of? What kind of project that perhaps you're not doing yet, but that maybe you might like to be a part of something? Like tomorrow, I'm going to go to Estella's place where she does this. What's the word? She comp
Volunteer.
she complements the curriculum of Mrs. Jones' class, and I went there a long time ago, and I got pretty involved, and then I decided not to be so involved. I think I felt like I was stepping on toes, so I stepped back.
Mm, mm.
I was like, I'm doing other things. Let me stay in my lane over here, and that's why I didn't come back, so that you know.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they enjoy any program that comes through there. I
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
they live it up and love it up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm going to enjoy just being there with you tomorrow,
Yeah.
and seeing them do what they do with BT Taylor. And can you speak a little bit about the work that BT has done with the students?
Right. Well, it's Spirit Awakening. It's a Coolio Graham Spirit Awakening.
Oh,
They,
Spirit Awakening.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
BT's with Spirit Awakening along with Michael Dyer and that
Mm-hmm.
whole group. But
Mm-hmm.
I brought Spirit Awakening to them maybe about 6 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
5 or 6 years ago when I was working with Spirit Awakening, and they've been fortunate enough to get the program back again this year
Mm-hmm.
after a lapse. So they take kids to the play. They just took the kids to see Basquiat. They give them all kinds of programs. They'll take some of the kids. They may choose some of the kids to take them to Ghana. They usually go to Ghana every year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the young people in Mrs. Jones' class are in a continuation school, part of LAUSD's continuation school. And if you know much about LAUSD, 84% of the students are living at poverty level or below. So those are in continuation school, have their own stories.
Mm-hmm.
So it's some of the most rewarding work I've ever done
Mm-hmm.
because Spirit Awakening, along with other people that we bring in, like, Kaumba, when we brought in you and a few times, it gives them exposure to things that they would never, ever get.
Well, you were talking about what happened to a dream deferred. I was like, she don't even remember what I did with no happen to a dream deferred.
I
But I
remember because you gave them the rhythm. I mean, didn't you help put that all together? It was an orchestra. It
Yeah, well,
was so
they did
long ago.
what happened. They learned what happened to a dream deferred, and I said what happened when a dream comes true.
Yes, yes, yes.
What happens when a dream comes true. We know that the Lorraine Hansberry
Langston
poem,
Hughes.
Langston Hughes. I always say Lorraine Hansberry.
Hmm.
That's Langston Hughes. Who did Raisin in the Sun?
Lorraine Hansberry.
So she quotes Langston Hughes in the play, I think.
I think she does.
Okay, that's why I
I don't
get it.
know.
That's why no, and she does. That's why I get confused.
Mhm.
So, but anyway, I also bought Michael Dyer there
Ah,
the first time.
yes, the first time. I love
Hmm.
that because I ended up paying for him to come back a few times before Spirit Awakening came.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're the one that introduced me to Michael Dyer.
No, 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 no. You knew him, but I brought him into the school with Miss Jones's class, and I paid him when he came too.
I'm telling you. And now Okunyo's paying him, but he's worth paying, y'all. He's brilliant,
Oh,
brilliant man.
that's my sweatshirt, homie.
Yeah.
But anyway, we are, as you can tell, we are rolling here, and we're gonna and we have some things that we want to share. So don't go if you don't have to go. We invite you to stay for the after party. Marcus, you gonna join us tonight? I sent an invite out to several people. This is Sue's after party. So if you're going to get off right now, I just want you to let your joy be so triumphant that you rest in God. and say amen. Look in the mirror or just close your eyes and touch that beauty deep inside of you. Breathe. Breathe in the holy presence. It's right there, deep inside of you. It's breathing you. It's closer to you than the mirror. Yeah, yeah.
I do. Mr. Sam Cooke really laid it down. And Miss DB gonna try to lay it down. I was born by the river in a little tent. And just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, 'cause I know a change's gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Oh, yes it will. It's too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, 'cause I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Oh, yes it will. Then I go to my brother. I say, brother, help me please. But then he said, he knocked me down, right back down on my knees. Oh, there's been times when I thought I wouldn't last for long, oh Lord. But now I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time a-coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Oh, yes it will.
All right now. That's Gabriel blowing his horn. Sure, that's Gabriel blowing his saxophone. Well, that's a horn. That was Cal Bennett on the horn, and that was Miles Joseph on guitar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's from Mama and Miles.
I just realized that was Mama B. Oh
Yeah.
my God. She sounded so youthful.
She was 85 then.
Wow. Okay, I'm sorry. I was wondering who did that song. Okay.
Yeah. She was 85 and she knew who she was.
Yeah.
You know, she knew in so many ways she did. She did know that part. And and she wanted to do it like that. That was Miles on guitar. And it was interesting because um, he said to me, he said, "Mama can sing." I was like, "Well, I know Mama can sing." Hey, Cheryl, welcome to the after party.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, and Sue, thank you for showing your face, Sue, right
Yeah,
here with us.
you
You know,
pulled
but
me in.
yes, we did, and Marcus might show up. I don't know,
Okay.
but he said, "Mama can sing," and I said, "I know Mama can sing." He says, "But no, no, she really can sing." And they would practice over here, Miles and my mom, and they'd go learn songs. And soon she had enough for a project, and uh, we went in and did the No Doubt, and then whenever she was down about anything, I was like, let's work on your book, or let's work on your CD project, or just get a mind off of what she thought the problem was and engaged in something creative, because that can really help us.
Mhm.
Some of us are very much in the trenches with our work and the things that we do, and others of us have gone through that, and we're kind of like on a part of that journey. But there's nothing like something creative to help us through. Music was always that for me. What has that been for you, Cheryl?
You know, I've only been off like a few months now,
Mhm,
and I'm still getting through everything. But what was on my mind is, that article was about me on Sunday in the Times, and I had
mhm,
a long conversation with one of the board of supervisors
mhm.
yesterday. I don't know if you want me to talk about this because that wasn't the question you asked.
Well, it's not the question I asked, but if it pertains to the question, then talk about it.
Um, So we were talking about probation and some of these DCFS slash
Mhm,
probation youth being released. And,
mhm,
some of the kids are dangerous, but probation can't keep them, and DCFS doesn't have anything to do with them. They don't know what to do with them. And she was telling me that right now in the juvenile halls, there's no school, there's no activities, there's no school because the teachers are afraid to go in. They lack staff because the staff is afraid.
Mhm.
And when I had a kid in Central like 10 years ago, they had school, they had PE, they had a structured day.
mhm,
And, it's like, I want to save the world. And I'm sure not all these kids are salvable, but I'm sure some of them are. And some of them deserve a second chance and they deserve services. And how do you get that for kids?
mhm,
So that's what's been on my mind.
Mhm.
mhm. Estella has done a lot of work at juvenile hall with the students, the children down there. You want to speak on that, Estella?
I feel you, Cheryl. I don't do it anymore. It's, most of the time they send young people. I don't know about the article or you or anything like that, but nowadays I know they're sending a lot of the young people home with bracelets, and the ones that are left have high drama and high trauma. And our society doesn't know what to do with that, walking around free as adults, let alone what to do with children who suffer. Um, my heart is always to think that there's always something that can be done if there's an interest. And my interest has always been to help where I can, how I can.
Mhm,
I had I had a young man. I had a group in Mrs. Jones's class that had to think of a project to get funded. There was a fiscal agent that was thinking about funding some kids project, and the project was, backpacks for kids because they leave the foster care system and the juvenile justice system with a black bag, as you probably know. Um, and that conversation ended up turning into, what are other people doing that they could help research and find how they did it. So I always know that when there doesn't feel like there's an answer, someone else has already asked the question.
mhm.
I go to, where has that question been asked and what solution came up.
Fix your microphone. Your microphone is going
Oh,
in and out.
oh, I'm sorry. I always, when there's a question like that, I always know that someone else is asking the question.
Mhm,
And so I comfort myself with knowing that there are other people doing it, and where, because my tendency is to start the wheel all over, and there's no need to.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
and that
know.
population is serious. I mean, I don't know what to tell you other than I know it's a serious population, but I also know that love.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was paranoid schizophrenic. I've got two sisters who are mentally ill. I know that love sees it from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think that right now it's time to love you, Cheryl. You know, right now is it's time for you to really heal, because what you went through was was devastatingly traumatic, and to have to go through that. And I'm just glad that you're alive and that you told the story to somebody, you know, and you got that story out. I mean, millions of people read that story. Now, what they'll do with it, I don't know, but I know that something's percolating, you know, that is good. And back in the day when Estella guided our team to Sojourner Truth, there was a continuation school called Sojourner Truth, and man, we walked in the doors of that place, and it was like a movie. I mean, folks were throwing stuff. I mean, they were cursing. It was just like something out of To Serve with Love, like a movie with Sidney Poitier shows up and they throwing stuff all. Wasn't it Sidney Poitier? I think it was To
The
Serve
real
with Love.
Sidney Poitier.
The real thing. Yeah, he was. They were throwing stuff, and I was
I
like,
remember that movie.
yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you that was a movie. This was real, and we were, and we were there, and all I knew, you know, was to stay in the moment. I knew to stay in the moment, to stay in the moment, and to see, I couldn't even say, my heart could see it. My heart could just see what I needed to do, and I could be in that space. And we eventually worked with it and actually had a process before the. I don't know if you remember this, Estella, but that was the thing where we got them to and this is what's needed, Cheryl. They need teams of people who love to go in and be there. you know they need teams of people who love, and I don't mean just the folks who might be scared. I mean all the kids. I mean, like, just everybody. We are missing from there. I used to say that a lot about this the center that I used to be a part of. I was like, we're not down on Skid Row, man. But we kind of were, because I was there. We kind of were in the juvenile system because Akuyo's there, and she brings a team of folks there. So we kind of are there. But I just think that the church should be down there. I just think that folks who know how to love, you know, and who care and serve would want. And you can't be with everybody, but you'd be with the ones that you can be with. I mean, Estella, you're not serving everybody, and neither were you, Cheryl. You know, and neither were we. But we were working with the people that it made a difference to that group.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It made that story about the starfish was like you picking up one starfish and throwing it back in. It got thousands of starfish out there. He's like, yeah, you're not making a difference. He said, well, it makes a difference to that one. So if you can change somebody's life, and I know you have, Cheryl, I know you've worked with people, and I think that as you just kind of get yourself together by breathing in and just being in the arms of God, and to allowing yourself to be embraced in the holiness of who you truly are, you know, and to let that love flow over you, and let it be what it will be for you, what it needs to be. It already is, that you just open to that, and don't forget the good work that you've done, the good work that the people that you've worked with who've loved what you've done, you know. That because sometimes we also get fixated on that one moment,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah,
And
it's I had while I was away in Newport Beach, I had a young kid, Terrell, that was in one of the first classes I ever taught in continuation school. And he's about 35 years old now. And he texted me to tell me that I was the only one that ever believed in him.
Mm-hmm.
He now has 3 children, two
Hmm.
girls and a boy.
Mm-hmm.
And he just wanted to thank me. You don't ever know where your love goes.
Mm-hmm. You don't
You just
know.
know that people feel it and take it with them.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can touch one person, to me, you touch generations,
Oh yeah.
past, present, and future.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I always say, love you first. And if you master that, you do well.
Mm-hmm.
You
I had
do
a
well.
well, I had a question for you, Estella, and it says, but I answered it. It say, how do you take the chains off of somebody's mind? You know, how do we take the chains off of their mind? It says, well, the first step is to take the chains off of yours. I
Mhm.
got to take the chains off of the place where I'm stuck. You
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
somebody wrote here that the expectations of the organizations make it so difficult for people who know how to love and care to actually make a difference and keep doing the work. But there are people who don't lose faith. Like I was telling you about that school that Aiden school, where these teachers they have an agenda to have joy as part of their curriculum, and they get specific. They call it Black joy.
Mm.
And they do have children there that are happy, that are joyful, that who are creative, and who are supported in their creativity, and not locked down through a curriculum that doesn't include them in the world anyway. It's not them. It's just like they're doing these assignments that are not about education, and before it's all done, they may know some facts, but they're cruel people.
Well, there's a lot of teachers that teach that don't like children. I mean, that's just a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the system behind that, the
Mm-hmm.
outpicturing of the system behind that.
Mm-hmm.
But the joy and anchoring the joy has to, the question about how you take the chains off of your brain, your mind,
Mm-hmm.
is when I teach in juvenile hall, I have to come hard first.
Mm-hmm.
So my hard is, what lie do you believe about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What lie is it when you just like your mama or your daddy, or you're dumb, or you'll always be dumb? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
what is the lie? Or you're
Mm-hmm.
ugly and you'll never be pretty. I
Mm-hmm.
had a girlfriend whose little brother told her that she had ugly legs, and they were big legs, and
Mm-hmm.
men would love her legs, but she
Mm-hmm.
always, hid her legs because she was told, and she believed the lie.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you build mental strength is more of a question in terms of the change, because the change come from just being born in America in this day and time, and being colonized accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the truth
Mm-hmm.
about you
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that is
Mm-hmm.
constant?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Begins to take the chains off. No, you will never ever be like anybody else. You are a unique,
Mm-hmm.
individualized form of God.
Mm-hmm.
What were you here to do? What are you here to do?
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes when you get the inspiration, you may want to be a doctor, and nobody in your family ever knew how to read and write. But that's
Mm-hmm.
the gift that's being intuitively given to you, a,
Mm-hmm.
a passageway for you to go. It may be scary, but
Mm-hmm.
Rickie, you and I were talking about, sometimes you got to keep the stuff to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I've never worked in systems.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Me either.
it's yeah, it's the worst system,
Mm-hmm.
on the planet. I've never
Mm-hmm.
belonged to a church, but yet I was a
Mm-hmm.
practitioner. I don't follow like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm led, and I allow that.
Mm-hmm.
So, the comparisons, believing that the world has to be fair, all of that stuff will keep chains on your mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be preachy.
Yeah, well, you did. Amen. Amen. Hallelujah.
Sorry.
Hey, no, you never have to apologize for being brilliant. And somebody, Laura Robs wrote, "Bless those who mourn, eternal God, with the comfort of your love, that they may face each new day with hope and certainty that nothing can destroy the good that has been given." May their memories become joyful, their days enriched with friendship, and their lives encircled by your love. And that's what I know for you, Laura, for you, Cheryl, for you, and for all who are in the trenches, man, doing doing an important work at whatever level we can. That is what that was yours to do. So I'm just glad that you are in the B hood and that you are getting some restoration on Sundays.
Amen.
I'm glad I'm here too.
Amen.
And
I'm glad
glad,
I'm there.
yeah, it's good. And we see you blessed and blessed and joyful.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, thank you, Estella, for your depth, for your words, you know, uh, for your work, you know, for
Hmm.
your and for that beautiful heart of yours, because that's what's doing the work, you know. Yeah, that's what's doing the work, and that's we're all growing,
Mhm.
we're all growing. So
Thank
yeah.
you, Rickie. Thank you. Thank you for doing the work. Thank you for wanting to. Thank you for being a conduit that you don't
Mm,
get in your way of
mm,
bringing so much more to the world than you can ever imagine.
mm.
And
Thank
that's
you.
everlasting. That's everlasting. I looked up
Mhm,
the word eternal for a poem. No beginning, no end.
mhm,
Everlasting love.
mhm,
Okay.
mhm, mhm. Hey, I'll take it on.
And you
Woo!
don't know, Rickie, you don't know who hears you, who sees you, how you affect people,
Yep.
Mhm,
but it's there.
mm. Hey, it's a good life and a
Yeah.
blessed day.
Amen.
Thank you, beautiful women. Thank you, Sue, who took yourself out of the thread. I want to thank you. Put yourself back in there, Sue, and give us the closing words for the night, Sue.
As Rickie sings, it ain't complicated. All we got to do is love.
Mm.
Hmm. Yes,
All we have to do is love.
yes, and so it is.
So it
It
is.
is.
So it is.
Amen.
Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God.